Hey everyone, welcome to Average Joe Preparedness. I'm your host. My name's Rick, and I'm an Average Joe. Now, if you're new here, this is not a Doomsday Prepper channel. This is for preparedness, for just average people. And I've noticed recently in my feeds, I go through it and I check out new creators, new content creators, and there's some ones I follow and I sample different ones. But I notice it's becoming a trend for preparedness in general. I saw a new one showed up in the feed because of his title, and he doesn't even do preparedness, but he answers for any of his subscribers. They can ask him any question, and then he'll look into it. And one of his subscribers asked about Doomsday Preparedness, and he said, "Well, I'm not going to answer that. That's just silly. But what I will tell you about is general preparedness." And he went over a few things: fire extinguishers and having food and a little bit in water, and basically the same things that the Red Cross and FEMA, which are things that I cover, just normal things. But something hit me, and that was what just normal people are expected to have now. A few years ago, that you would have been a prepper. And then what preppers, just regular preppers, have nowadays, or seem to have nowadays. A few years ago, you would have been a doomsday prepper. And then a lot of the stuff that doomsday preppers have now was almost just unthought of a few years ago. You're talking about buying up missile bunkers, and I'm sure there's we've seen the stories, really rich people are getting these big compounds. And so the point being is, if you're just an average person, you need to have things that just a few years ago may have been considered being like a prepper. Just don't let it get to you. Just, this is the way. I've also noticed lately, and it seems to be prevalent through channels, is something I've talked about for a while, and that is preparedness and your mindset, how you think, but general preparedness and your mindset. And I see that more often, and I think I did some videos, see if I can do that thing. Woo. But I think I did some videos a while ago that it's about how you think, that that's your best weapon. Trust me. If you think about it, even if you just put a little bit of thought into it for just a couple of minutes, you're going to realize, hopefully, if you do a little research, you're going to realize it. The best weapon a person has, tool, how about we use that? The best tool that you have is your mind and how you think. That's what's going to get you through anything. And I've talked on that before, and I'll talk on it again. So start there. Start with your mind. That's the first thing you need to work on. All right, now at this point, I'm gonna tie another bow. I think I did a video about tying a bow and some preps. If you've seen some videos, I've done some samplings, and I've talked about before where I compost. I do some gardens and stuff, but I make my own compost. And I did little clips on like where I put the leaves in a cold compost bins, and then I move those into the tumble compost, and I showed you how they look over time. They look fresh, and then you can see them decomposing or composting. But I never actually showed you what happens and what I do once I pull it out of the bins. And so I got a little clip, and we're gonna look at it real fast right about now. Once the compost is removed from the spinning composters, put it in a bucket, and anybody will tell you that lots of buckets need to have them. And for a lot of people who compost, this basically would be good enough. I mean, I've seen some that their compost is really big, and they use wire mesh shakers to sieve it out, but this is pretty small when I get done. However, what I do is I have a sieve, and I got this at the dollar store, and then I actually drilled the holes out so that they're a little bigger, but it's still really small because I like my compost to be small. And so I put it in the sieve, I shake it out for about, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds, give or take, into a compost bucket that I'm going to actually put out on the grounds or in my garden. So shake it down for about 30 seconds or so. And then you'll see what's left is mostly like sticks, and there's a little bit of clay and stuff. And then goes into another bucket. Like I said, everybody needs to have buckets. And then what I do is this, a little bit of this, I put back into the composter to help accelerate the next batch. And then the rest of it, if there's a lot, then I actually use it as mulch. And this is the compost. This is what I spread in my garden beds. There's still some twigs and stuff in there, not many. This is what I put on my grass. This is what things really like this. And this started off as I showed you a bunch of like leaves and grass and twigs and stuff. And I also add coffee grounds and food scraps, but the food scraps don't go in the cold compost bins. They actually go in the spinners because it's a cold compost, so I don't put food in there. But yeah, that's the trip from start to basically finish. I don't know about you guys composting, but that's what I do. If anybody's got any ideas or critiques, let me know. Now, this channel isn't about specifics on anything. It's like a jack of all trades sort of channel. If you want to know about composting, there are people out there that's their thing. They compost. And I do a little garden. I do raised garden beds, and I've got a garden strip that I've shown you. But if you want to know about gardening and backyards, and if you want to know about raised garden beds, there are channels. That's not what this is about. This is just ideas for people, to get people to think, what can a normal person do? What can an average Joe just do now in this time? And I do it, I show these things by actually doing it. And I show you what goes right, I show you what's wrong, what things, and I'll make sure I tell you there's other people out there that can do it better. The specific things. But this is just to get a normal person to start thinking about things. What can I do the way things are now? Yes? So I want to point out with the compost, if you notice, I sieve it down really small. There's people that use wire shakers that they make. They pour it in and they shake it and it sieves out. But a lot of people use like bigger chunks. You'll see it if you go watch videos. I do mine really fine until it's really fine, because I use it in my grass and it's absorbed by the grass easier. If it had big chunks, it'd just be sitting on top of the grass. So, and again, I've mentioned before, mentioned again, my gardens, my grass, trees, whatever, they love the compost. So not poop, compost, but the compost I make. And it's just a little thing. It's, if you're way over here on the left, it's, you know, giving back to nature and not using chemicals. And if you're over here on the right, it's not spending the money. I don't pay taxes on that stuff that I make. I'm being self-sufficient. And again, what can the average person do to get through today's, not anarchy, but crazy stuff that's going on, is being independent, being self-reliant. And that's it. Bunch of little things. That's what I show. Now, if you've looked at the news, you see that nothing's getting better. Everything's getting worse. That's the trend. I talk about it. I mention it probably in at least I think in every video. Things aren't getting better. No one has put a comment down below that says, you know what, as soon as this happens, boom, everything's gonna be awesome. Yeah, no, it's not happening. So for those average people that have figured it out, that, yeah, this is the new norm, that it's just gonna continue in this direction, that's what this channel's for, give you ideas. Hopefully you're gonna start working in that direction, start taking care of yourself, start feeling a little better. And that's what it's about, is every time I do something, I feel a bit more comfortable. Every time I start something, or I improve something, or I fix something on my own, I'm like, yeah, I feel a little better about this. I feel a little bit more control in my life, and outside influences are less, and internal moving out is more, and that's a good thing. And I hope each one of you is seeing that and then is doing that. Okay, mandatory little clip about money. So I always throw a little something in there. Now, I was watching a content creator just like a week ago when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about. They happen to be talking about it, but in a negative way, but then kind of in a positive way. And their channel is a lot about money, saving money. Not going to name them because I don't subscribe to them. I've never commented. I've mentioned this before, that unless I'm interacting with them, I don't plug them. But They were saying that focusing on little things instead of big things is a bad idea. And I'll agree when it comes to finances. Now, I've talked about paying extra on your debts, your big debts, your mortgage last, and then your car, and paying off your credit cards, and then saving money. And then I give a bunch of little tips. But please understand, when I talk about the little tips, I'm doing those big things. Like I have zero credit card debt. And if I do incur some, it's planned and it's paid off fast. And paying my car is paid off. Lovely lady in my life, her car will be paid off this year. And the mortgage we've refinanced, I've talked to you about that. We pay extra. So please understand what I'm going to do is I give you little tips under the premise that you're either moving in that direction for the big stuff or to get you positively motivated that you can see these successes so you can move to the big stuff. Does that make sense? I hope so. So the money saving tip of the day, if we're going to week or the video or whatever we're going to call it, has to do with laundry. And again, like I said, this other content creator was saying that that was a negative thing if you're not focusing on others. And I agree. But if you are focusing on the other things, something you may not think about, and that's what this whole channel is about, is getting people to think, is laundry. So let's start with the basics. We have old washers and dryers. They're okay when it comes to efficiency, but they're not the newest, and they won't be until these break. Now, hopefully, if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you understand that I don't like spending money. If something works, if it's not broke, don't fix it. See what I'm saying? So our washing machines, you don't have to have the newest washing machines. That's not the way. Just letting you know. Some people would do cost benefit about older ones take more electricity. If you use them right, you're not going to spend the money that you would have to get the newest, latest one, bells and whistles. Yes? So laundry, starting off with, is take care of your equipment. Keep it clean, give it a thorough cleaning when you can, repair it if and when something happens. If you can, there's tons of videos out there on all the knowledge in the world is in the palm, is on the internet. You can find this stuff out, and it's not that difficult. Obviously, don't do things that are over your head, and do it safe. But try to learn how to do that to keep your equipment fixed. So then the next thing is, and a lot of people don't do it, is clothes come with instructions. And they tell you how to wash them if you read them. A lot of people, they just take clothes and they throw it in and then they throw it in and they're done. And there's some problems there. And we'll start with the first one, is wash clothes like in the water temperature that's required. Hot water takes more money than cold water. You see what I'm saying? Or warm water. Your clothes last longer. Use the amount of water, set it for the amount of clothes you have. If you only have a little bit of clothes, it's low. You don't have to fill the entire thing up with water. It wastes water, and it also wastes the other things you put in, your laundry detergent, fabric softener, because it gets diluted in this huge tank of water that you didn't need. Okay, learn how to do laundry. That's the simple money tip. Learn how to do laundry. Wash your clothes on the setting. If it's hand wash or it's gentle or if it's permanent press, your clothes last longer, so you don't have to buy more clothes. Yes, I know everybody's like, oh, it's trending, so I want to buy these clothes. If you still think that, if that's your mentality, okay, you might want to rethink it or move on. So, because that's not what this channel is about. This channel is for people who actually, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but you might want to actually think about what's important. Yes? So the simple act of washing your clothes correctly can save you money. It does it with energy use. It does it with water consumption. It does it with, do you actually read how much detergent or fabric softener to put in your thing? Or you just dump? You just like, it doesn't matter. Okay, just take a couple minutes. It doesn't take that much time. Read the labels, divide out your clothes, wash them accordingly, use the settings on your washing machines and dryer accordingly. Use the right amount of detergents and or fabric softeners. Now, we're not even getting into, there's people that make their own detergents, make their own fabric softeners. Haven't got there yet. However, I will tell you that I use vinegar. We'll get into that some other time. And then in the dryer, I use dryer balls. That's right, I said it, balls. You can get them, they're wool balls, and they help your clothes dry faster, and they take out the wrinkles. and you don't use as many dryer sheets, which is chemicals, which is good for the environment, and you're not spending the money. So there's things you can start looking at down the road. Who knows? Maybe down the road I'll make my own detergent. Who knows? Don't know yet. But right now I'll tell you what I do is I use the right amount. And so should you. Yes? All right, enough about laundry. Baked a loaf of bread yesterday. Somebody like, why do you bake a loaf of bread? Because I know today I just went shopping. It's the first of the month. So I went and got supplies for the month and filled a few holes. Some people might say, well, why a loaf of bread? I know today I just went and at Walmart, you can get a cheap loaf of bread for like 88 cents. People are like, that's not that big of a deal. Why take all the time to make a loaf of bread? Well, first off, so I know I can make a loaf of bread. Can you? Can you bake a loaf of bread? It's actually really good, and it doesn't have preservatives. And when you eat it, you can control the amounts of sugars, and there's no artificial blah and artificial this. And depending on your ingredients, I use fairly natural ingredients, non-GMO, non-colors. You can make something healthy that is normally not healthy. A lot of people tell you bread, not healthy. You can kind of make healthy bread, but it's to make sure that I know that I can make a loaf of bread. And also like a couple of cups of flour and a little bit of sugar and some salt. Everything together, I don't think cost 88 cents. Now my time, okay, but I chalk that time up to learning a skill. And I chalk that time up to maintaining a skill. Yes? But as for components, I don't think it cost 88 cents worth of stuff. And every time I do something like that, I verify I have the components in my house. I make sure, because you never can tell. Yes? And today I'm going to make a pie. Actually, probably two. I'm going to make a lemon meringue pie, but without the meringue. I'm going to put whipped cream on it. And I believe I'm going to make a cheesecake. Well, some people might say, why? You were at the store. Yes, I was. And I bought the components versus the actual thing. Because if you look at the ingredients and stuff that's pre-made for you, a lot of times it's not that good. And again, I'm learning a skill. And I can make things the way I want them made. My loaf of bread tastes the way I want it to. I can use wheat flour. I can add extra sugar. I can take sugar away. I can add a little bit of cinnamon, throw it in there. That's the cool thing, is it's like custom. Yes? And the same thing with these pies. These pies are going to taste awesome. Do you know why? Because I'm making them. And I'm learning a skill or validating a skill that you can do stuff on your own. You can cook your own food. You can bake your own products. You need to learn how to do that. Recommendation, not telling you what to do. You do anything you want, killer. Yeah, you go out there and spend your money. Go ahead. It's cool beans. But if you're not thinking that way anymore, if you're starting to think like, I need to start bringing stuff in closer to home, closer to me, I need to start learning how to do it. If you are, here's just some ideas. And once again, this isn't a baking channel. You can go and there's ones that know, they'll tell you like 9 different ways of how to bake bread and pies. It's not what this is about. This is about getting people to think. Yes? Yes. All right, that's just about it. If you check the news, I think I mentioned it once already, the world is going to, I don't want to say going to hell, but in a handbag. I think my grandma used to say a long time ago, but things aren't going well, and who knows what tomorrow's going to bring. If you're paying attention to what's in the news, things change not only daily, but like on the hour, for goodness sakes. I just, I get like in the feeds, I see what's there. Okay, I can tell what's going to be trending anyway, so I'm not shocked and amazed. Oh my gosh, this new thing yeah, duh. Yeah, I could tell that was going to happen. Oh, and the price of this, yeah, no kidding. If you pay attention for like 5 minutes instead of paying attention to what some would consider frivolous other things, yeah. Anyways, if you pay attention for just a couple minutes, that's all it's going to take. If you think about it, so you're not shocked and amazed when this stuff like shows up on your feed or on my computer, and I'm like, oh my God, our TV. Oh, so things aren't going great, and they ain't gonna. This is the way. This is the new way, guys. So get used to it. Yes, and then you can still just have a smile on your face if you're working in the direction of how things are now. All right, didn't want to end on a negative. Let's end on a positive. It is now December, and hopefully, because I know you did all your Christmas shopping. like some of the Christmas shopping we did was like months ago. Why? Because we could tell what's gonna happen. And then that we can put money away and you can spend this way and it's all in thing. So hopefully you're gonna have a wonderful Christmas. Hopefully it's not politically correct or whatever, but our house is all decorated. We got family that's gonna be coming. I already bought Christmas dinner again like 2 months ago. It's in the freezer right over here. And hopefully it's gonna be great. I just hope there's people smiling and laughing and eating food and feeling the familyness, the camaraderie, and just take a few moments sometimes to just forget about how bad things are. You know what I'm saying? Being around good people. But anyways, all right. Hopefully this finds you well. And as always, be happy, be positive, be prepared.